I want to get onto this because I want to talk with you about the long-term ombudsman program. I know y'all involved in family caregiver support, because if there's not some support for the caregivers, that part of the system can break down. But what we always have on this program is our time element breaks down, and you and I have something else to discuss, and that is not only what the office is doing, but the involvement in South Carolina of young people. And I think one of the great things is bringing young people in. And today we're going to talk first about the Lieutenant Governor's Bridging the Generations Award. And this challenges 8th grade students to interview senior citizens and to compare and contrast life as it was for them in the 8th grade and in their youth to what it is now. And it's a wonderful program, and over 50 schools in 22 counties, I believe, have participated in this. But we're proud to announce today that Ms. Hannah Toole of Ms. Gaskey's 8th grade class at Orangeburg Preparatory School is the 2012 state winner. And her portrayal of her grandfather's life is like a glimpse looking back into what it was like when he was growing up. And I think in that essay you talked about what he took a quarter to the theater. Could you tell our viewers just very quickly a glimpse of what you wrote?
I wrote about how my grandfather, how the economy was back when he was a teenager and my age, and gas prices, they were 30 cents a gallon, and now they're $3, and he could go to the movie theater for a quarter, and now you can go for $15.
Well, it's a very vivid description. Anybody that reads it, it's like a trip back in time. It was very well done, and I believe we've got an award.
We do.
If you've got it here, let's. And here we want to present you this, Hannah.
Thank you.
And congratulate you on it, and thank you for taking the time and the effort to excel and to visit and to make something special for those seniors.
Yes, sir.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Well, that's not the only award that they have, and the other thing they've done is they have engaged, I think, the South Carolina Scholastic Press Association through funding from the Central Carolina Community Foundation, has also created a scholarship, the BG Times Scholarship Contest, where they engage high school journalism. And they look at this one from the standpoint of telling a senior's story in life, and they use a multimedia approach to it. It can be YouTube, PowerPoints, or whatever. We got a first place winner this year. Ryan Magee, he will be the recipient of a $1,000 scholarship, but he used text and video, music, and everything to share his grandmother's story of growing up in Indonesia, moving around the world, the challenges of life. It's a real moving video in a few minutes that just encompasses her life and her perspective as a senior. And very quickly, if you could tell our viewers about your video. I've seen it and it's wonderful.
Thank you, thank you. The video centers around my grandmother, and I went into the interview thinking that, I knew that she came to the U.S. From the Middle East area, and I knew that. And I went in there, I didn't know what story I was going to get out, whatever. But then I started interviewing her, and I found stories about her father being taken away during when the Japanese, were taking over the whole area. And her father was taken away, put into a camp, and after that she never saw her father again. Her father hid a note in his passport because they had to return all of his belongings to the family. And that letter described his years in the camp. And so they had to sell everything. My grandmother's family had to sell everything to be able to start living, to get the basic necessities. She moved on, married my grandfather. They went to Lebanon, they had children, and they had to go through the civil war that was going on there. And eventually they got through that, and they moved to South Carolina, and they laid out a pretty nice life for them. And it was great just to tell that story to everyone.
Well, I also know that you have a teacher and journalism advisor at Dutch Fork. I believe it is Miss Amy Medlock Green. She's apparently been an inspiration and done a good job. One of the things that impressed me was what she talked about, making the best out of whatever you have.
Yes, sir. That was one of her messages at the very end, which stuck with me. You know, it's a saying that, you know, a lot of people have said, but when she said it, it kind of stuck, just hearing everything that she's been through. And at the very end, she gives the message that you should be happy with everything that you have, and make the best out of everything that you have.
Well, we've got something for you. We want to make the best out of this moment, too, which is to present you with this certificate in the scholarship that we've got. Mr. Kester and I want to present you with this and to congratulate you and tell you what a great job you did.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We got a few minutes left here in the broadcast, and very quickly, well, I'll ask both of you, what are your future plans? We've been looking at the past. We're talking about Older Americans Month and everything. What does your future look like?
I plan to attend college to be a veterinarian.
Very good, Amy.
I'm actually planning to do the bridge program with USC, go 2 years Midlands, 2 years USC, and I plan to study more into film because I want to eventually become a director as I get older. So I want to study, you know, film cinematography, and I really hope that future carries off for me.
Very good. Well, certainly with the quality of product I've seen, I think both of you got a very bright future. Again, I have to tell you, I watched the video, I read yours. Both of them were like traveling back in time and being with those people. And when you can involve the reader or the viewer in the story, that's why y'all were winners.
Thank you.
You just did a great job. You've heard Mr. Kester talking about the challenges we have for older Americans and what all they're trying to do. You can see that we have some great challenges ahead of us, and how do we convey to the public the challenges of this generation that's given as any generation so much, and now they need a helping hand so they can stay in their homes. And have anything to say about this program to these winners, Mr. Kester? Because y'all done a great job in picking winners and inspiring young people to be participants in this.
Well, I think it's great that they've taken an interest in learning lifestyles, what it was like, as we say, in the good old days. As I visit some of our senior centers, I talk to some of our seniors, and they talk about what life was like, but I also talk to some of our younger seniors who say it's such an inspiration to hear stories. And the sad part of this is, a lot of this is undocumented. They're sharing stories, and when these seniors are gone, so go our stories. And so anytime we can document the past, I think that's important. In my own family, there was a member who had a huge collection of historical data, but unfortunately passed, and so passed all of that knowledge. So I think any opportunity that we have to share that information with our younger generation so it's not lost, I think that's extremely important.
I would agree with you. About the two of y'all, it had to be a learning experience for y'all to sit down. I mean, obviously a quarter buys you entrance into the theater, gets you the popcorn, gets you the drink, and gets you the candy bar. It's an eye-opener, isn't it?
Yes,
Just the
sir.
way things have changed. And the schools and things like that. Parents, grandparents moving around, the challenges they had, new places. It's, you know, life is a challenge. It's opening and closing of doors. And I just think it's great. We're going to run out of time today. One of the things we want to talk about was Alzheimer's, which is a challenge to the senior population in South Carolina, and how we manage that very quickly. I would say y'all have been involved in the respite care program to give families the opportunity to how to handle that very quickly. I think we got probably less than about a minute to broadcast.
Well, one thing that is important, our seniors over the age of 85, 1 in 2 has a form of dementia. The caregiver is so important, and we have statistics. Maybe one day we can revisit that. But we're talking hundreds of billions of dollars in unpaid caregiving that is provided through this state. And again, this is another problem that we have to deal with.
And we're going to try to deal with it
Absolutely.
in our program. The other thing we have to deal with is a problem called time, and our time is running out. I want to again congratulate both of y'all. Thank y'all for the effort. Thank y'all for contributing to the history of this state and preserving those memories. And to both of you, you've excelled, continue to excel, and good luck. And with that, we'll be back next week with a different subject and new programs here on This Week at the State House.